So good evening, everybody. Welcome to Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're back live from Full Speed Events, Studio number 3. Yeah, we're still stuck out in France. Just give me 1 second. Excuse me. Minor technical issue. Got my cable caught up. Don't want to do that very painful thing. If you get it wrong, you end up with your ears getting pulled sideways, which is no good for anybody. Right, let's crack on. It's the very last Donny Chaingang of 2022. It's Thursday, and Russ is back with us, as you can see, just messaging down there. The man is going to be taking us out in just over 6 minutes' time, and we're heading out a brand new route. So no climb up to end the year on a high this year. It's been a pretty tough winter season for Russ and me, and we decided that Russ, in his infinite wisdom, actually decided, and I am ever grateful for him for deciding it, that tonight would be a slightly easier night than going up to the top of the Ventoux, which takes not only a long time but quite a big effort in terms of intensity and planning. So we're on Finance Sunday, brand new route in Mercury Islands, and we're on 44k, and it does sum up quite well what has been a pretty fast and quite often off-road Chaingang. So we have 44k to get in through. The finish is actually at 42.5k. And it's 4 laps, so basically we just come south of our pens. You can see the riders lined up, and just above our riders are the people who make the Chaingang work. With 1080, of course, our headline sponsors, you can see just up on the tops of the screen. And we've got 2 giveaways. Now, congratulations to James Forbes, who took away the first of those custom Oakleys. He's going to be able to choose from any set of Oakleys with any writing on there, any lenses, whatever he wants. 3 sets going out to members of the DCG gang to say thank you for supporting the Chain Gang in December. So those draws will come up during the course of the evening. We'll pull those out of the hat with our traditional random number generator. We'll give you a little bit of a preview of that. It's just down there. Currently stuck on 22, quite simply because we've just been testing it. But we will be heading out to the number generator during the course of the ride, and it will be 2 giveaways. We've got to say a big thank you to everybody who's been a red beacon, yellow beacon, helped Russ, helped myself, helped us with the tech along the course of 2022, in the spring of last season, and of course in the autumn, winter of this season. Massive thank you from us, and particularly to the people on the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, without whom nobody would be getting right, because Russ and I just couldn't do this without you. So thank you guys for that. Speaking of Russ, let's have a picture of Russ on his phone for a change. Messaging yet again. Now, interesting to see, we've got Jimmy Mack on here. We've got Altaf Hussein already jumping on the message board, probably already messaging Russ. As you can see, this is a pretty straightforward route. We come out of the pens, we go around the edge of the little loop, we go up north and go around the big loop. We then come back around and go back round the little loop. Think figure of 8. We finish on the 4th time in and through past the pens at 42.5k. There's 1.5k warm down to spin your legs out. Don't just stop, folks. Make sure you keep on rolling. And total of 308 meters. Now, the biggest climb actually is on that spiral climb that goes up and over. We're going to be taking a little bit of a look at that. People get a little bit of a check through. The man who's going to be sweeping people up is going to be Eddie Dench, our red beacon in his traditional red jersey. I suspect the beers and bikes jersey, if I know Eddie, rather than his nice camo green blending in with the Peak District hillsides that you can see at the moment. So Eddie, of course, one of our regular riders on the DCG gang and on the Donny Chain gang. Great to have Eddie on as our red beacon for the very last chain gang of the year. Now, we did say 308 meters. It doesn't look much, does it? But the key here, and bear in mind that we have deliberately flipped this map through 180 degrees, is that section where we go around the spiral. So we effectively head out and we come up through that spiral twice per lap. Twice per lap. So really, really key. So let's see how our riders are doing. Looks like they are into the last couple of riders, and going to be the riders heading out. Currently nicely underneath that 100 marker where you can't see the front or the back. So make sure you get the group dialed. Remember, stay round yellow, absolutely key. And remember, Bikes and Beers Man is your beacon. Thank you very much to Velo Viewer for the graphics, to Zwift Insider, to Dan Lebowski, and of course to Mocha for all of the music that we use on the show. Let's jump in with our riders. They are just about ready to go. Quick reminder, we are going to be doing a giveaway of the Oakleys. That is going to be 2 giveaways tonight. Last night, 4 customers going out to 1 rider, and that is going to James Forbes. So the riders are primed and ready into that last minute of countdown. Quick reminder, if you're watching live, stay round yellow until the go, go, go. At that point, all rules are off. It is simply get to that finish as fast as you can. Quick reminder as well, please stay with yellow. It's a ramped workout. It's not a race till that go, go, go happens. So please, guys, make sure you follow the instructions on your screen. Let's jump in with our riders. They're into the last few seconds of countdown. So as you can see, the last 20 seconds or so. Let's see who we're going to follow out from those pens today. Remember, of course, this is all about making sure we get a nice, steady start out from the line. So currently just under 5 seconds to go. Our riders are up and riding. We're jumping in with Claire Jessup at the moment, or one of our regular riders. We're going to try and jump in with AD actually to come off from the line and then head out. Now, as you come out, we're going to turn left. What you've got to keep an eye out is the line, basically the finishing line. That is the bright virtual banner on the left-hand side of the screens. So looks like just coming out from the pens. We're going to jump in with Carl Johnson just to get a good heads-up view of the riders as we come in. So this is the finishing line in 4 full laps time. The 4th time we hit this line, that is the end of your ride, ladies and gentlemen. 4 laps time. So Jimmy Mack nicely tucked in to the group here, looking rather svelte-like at the moment. Let's have a little bit of a run through. Looks like Dale Williams and Ryan Williams just getting a little bit of a later start. Going to have to do a little bit of chasing to get back in. Just going to keep a check on Ryan. Ryan about to hit the course proper as he goes underneath the gantry. You'll see that start to tick it up on the counter. Here we go. So our riders up and riding. Very interesting to see that the distance is maybe a fractionally out, and that is quite simply because of the difference between the route today, not including the lead in on the distances. So Ryan Williams and Dale Williams having to do a little bit of work to get on to very fast riders. Don't really need Eddie Dench's help, to be brutally honest. They're going to be very quick indeed. The bunch moving pretty fast at the moment as we hover up above 80 as we head out and around this circuit. Some great scenery as we sit in with our red beacon, and that group just getting itself together as we head down and around Mech Isle. So Mech Isle is a mechanised industrial island at the heart of the factories, just nicely off to one side. And if we pull the map back up, you can see that we're going to be basically taking a little bit of a right-hand loop. And that will take us in and around. So Tracy just rolling at the back there. Williams just making contact. Ryan Williams coming in at warp speed at the moment. So a touch dusty at the moment as Ryan Williams makes his way through. So AD just rolling at the back of the group. We're going to take this right-hand turn. And we're going to head into the spiral climb. It looks like everybody is on board. There is nobody left in the pens, just the full speed events rider sat there, and it doesn't go anywhere very quickly, to be brutally honest. Tracy Seeley in here. Tracy was doing quite a lot of work yesterday on the WoW DCG, great WoW DCG on Keith Hill. Great to see the riders in action, and remember, of course, the WoW DCG. One of many rides that Tracy Seeley's doing on Zwift this week, including, of course, the crazy big number, I think it's 500, the rough 500, all on Zwift, all tomorrow. Now, shout going out from Russ to keep everybody together on the climb. As I think that's going to be Morgan. Lloyd just jumping in onto the wheel of Gibbo. Mick Hawkins took nicely in here. Jim Flynn, looks like Mr. Mason, Henry Fuller in here, Chris Jones, Carl Johnson. Really is a who's who, including, of course, the one and only the Bear is back. It's Russ who is leading the gang out, the gang basically all together. And our riders are now starting to make the way in and around this loop, this spiral loop that takes them back over themselves. And a cracking view, in fact, from our helicopter. It gives us a nice view on the way around. I think Bond villain combined with Bruce Lee film, Evil Island on something like Marvel Comics. It is a combination of all those things with a bit of Japanese cartoon chucked in as well. It gives you a real feel for exactly what this part of the island is definitely like. A really interesting part of the Mercury Islands world. Well, good to see that we've got Ken Kerrigan on the gang. Ken, not always able to join the gang. Regularly has to slot it in and around the shifts. Nice kit, mate. Good to see Ken back on Chaingang once again and climbing well as we come around this long left-hand spiral. And we'll get our helicopter up into the air as our riders just go over the top of the roadway that they went under not all that long ago, coming down in and through over the industrial bridge. So over the bridge we go, and heading out on to more dusty roads. Now we've got a little bit of a descent coming up. It's minus 3% at the moment, and that will start to increase. It's going to be really interesting on this descent. I wonder if anybody has gone for a gravel setup. It is actually quite a good move on this course, as we see Ryan Williams just sitting on the wheel of Jimmy Mack. Not a bad wheel to be sat on, let's face it. We'll see whether or not it's going to be super smooth. So dropping down and on to this. Let's see how these riders get on with the change of surface onto the tarmac at the moment. Just in with Ryan sitting at the back of that group. Eddie ignoring all the fast men. He knows exactly who they are. Just watching Neil Kerry just get a little bit of a boost into the gang there with a late join. I think either that or a slight deviation off route, but it looks like he's gone in. So one of the things that you do get on this route is you get the sprint line on the way round. So we are just taking in the edge of the circuit, this line here, this run in for the bridge, a chance to pick up a power up or two. So here we go, chance for a pick up something interesting on the way in. Let's see what people can get as they go through. What's going to be the most benefit today? Could be a steamroller, could be an aero. And you're just taking back a drop back to take a look at Ryan. Oh, new PB coming from Mr. Ingham there. Nicely done, sir. Chris Jazz in with the gang, Mr. Mason, just keeping everybody ticking along nice and smoothly at the moment. And that gang holding together well. Just one or two riders just yo-yoing around the back of that group. So just going to take a little bit of a look at the back. Looks like Phil Oliver just taking a little bit of a roll out of the back just to give himself a little bit of a leg stretch in. Now I'm going to take the left-hand turn once again. So on we go, left-hand turn coming up. If we went right, we'll be heading up on to the climb, but taking that left-hand turn and back in and through nice and comfortably. Guess what? Back on to more fine and sandy stuff as we come in and along. So rolling the way through is going to be Russ. Whilst our riders head out on lap number one, making the way in through this amazing scenery here on Mercury Islands, let's head in for a giveaway. Let's give away a pair of custom Oakleys, courtesy of 1080. So let's start off, first of all, with starting our random number generator. Here we go. So the number generator's fired up. Let's see who is going to pull out. Our riders in the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, in a big long list. In fact, list and a half. There you go. 56 riders, one of which isn't eligible, so that means it's 1 in 55 for the first chance to win a set of custom Oakleys. Who is it going to be who's going to take away the custom Oakleys? Let's have a little look. Let's make sure that we're ready to hit the button. So it's rolling along. This is going to randomly stop on a number. A for AD. In fact, our red beacon is number 1 because he's the first in the alphabet in his first name. And it's W for Wayne is the last. In fact, the last two are both Wayne, so it's then done by surnames on the way through. So let's see what number it's going to stop on. I am going to not be able to see a thing. Hit the button. It's number 34. So number 34, not on page 1. Michael Clark, you're 33. Sorry, mate. It is Michael Hutchinson. That is Coup Slugs. So Michael Hutchinson is going to be the winner of the second pair of Oakleys. So Michael Hutchinson, who is Coup Slugs, is one of our regular riders. Well done to Coup Slugs. And you will be receiving those Oakleys. Once we get in touch, we'll let you know how to claim for them. A massive thank you to Ian and 1080. So Michael Hutchinson, or Coup Slugs, one of the Starton mob, going to be taking away a set of custom Oakleys. Any choice, any colour, any design, whatever he wants, up for grabs. That's what you want, isn't it? So Russ continues to lead the riders down. We're taking the next left-hand turn. So the gang rolling well, just sitting in with Russ at the moment. The distance of 500 is on case. So let's have a look. Do they have to be on the right to claim them? No, they don't. They just have to look after the gang by being a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Sports Club. Sorry, Russ. I know you'd much rather have a set of Oakleys. We all would like an extra set of Oakleys. So let's see how they're going. Now, riders on the way round. So Koos looks getting the next set. Let's see who is going to take the next set. It won't be long. Now let's have a little look. Let's see how they are going. So let's have a little look. Mr. Wallace nicely tucked it in here. Not quite sure I got the last message from him, but we not like they, hey, and that. Yeah, we are definitely not in the running. Apparently, Kusluk's coach should get them. We're not in the running. No, Russ and I are totally eligible for the draw, sadly. However, we do get the honour of working with the one and only Ian Taylor. Now, it's going to be Volcano Flat 500k for Volker Todnik, aka Vince and Tracy. So let's see how our riders rolling. The group are basically all together. We're going to take the left-hand turn, and then guess what? We're going to head up the climb once again. We're then going to take a right-hand turn. And going to be then dropping back down past the start-finish line. And then guess what? We're going to head back up over the climb and head out onto lap number 2. Get used to this spiral climb. You're going to do it a lot. 8 times tonight. Not just once, not twice, but 8 times. I may be on festive stacks by the time we finish the ride. Might have to be done. So in with Tim Corby, another of our regular riders, as we head in to the climb here. You can see plenty of people deploying the run in. And remember, this, of course, is a little bit of a rehearsal for a run into the finish. Because our riders just make their way up over here, then take a right-hand turn, and then drop down through past the pens and into the finishing line. So the dress rehearsal, no one going to be on its way through. So our riders on lap number 1, making the way in towards those turns. I think we'll drop the let's drop the drone cam in on Mr. Dowtree. On to Brett, another of our riders. Great to have Brett on board. So Brett in with us once again, and thank you to everybody who's been looking after it. So let's have a look. Yeah, just a little conversation going from Tracy out there about having got dragged along by Sammy Stewart. The wonderful Sammy Stewart was on the Chaingang on the way out to DCG, and in fact the week before Christmas we also had Alex Morris, the Downing Cycling coached rider, who has been the winner of the Zwift Academy and gets a pro contract. So great to see. Now riders continue to climb their way up on the sandy, dusty tracks here. Fine and sandy by name, fine and sandy by nature. Not quite the end of lap number 1 yet. Remember, we're going to come around the top, and we're going to take a right-hand turn back through the far side of Mac Isle. I think it's going to be a bit of a long one tonight. Make sure you've got plenty of OTE, snacks and supplies. Actually, was using the OTE today when I was out doing some more work out in the land out the back from the studios here, and it was definitely the case. Needed fueling back up by the team at OTE, and massive thank you to OTE for all of their support. Of course, they were the very first of our giveaways for our riders who are members of the DCG gang, with Halo following the Monster OTE in September, Halo in October for Halloween. Gritty covered us all the way through Bonfire Night and all the way through November into the heart of the muddy cross season with some off-route routes. We've got, of course, 1080 and Oakley for December. And then we're going to be in January when we all need a little bit of TLC, particularly if we're getting starting to get a few more miles in. And that's why we've got Veloskin going to be looking after everybody in January. February is going to be Continentals month, followed by March will be the Italian Spring Classics. It's going to be Nonnas for March. And then one of our team of supporters will be back in April. We know exactly which one it is, but we're not going to tell you that. That'd be far too entertaining, far too easy. Now, riders on the way down, taking the right turn. Remember, this is the final run in towards the finish, so this is a full-on dress rehearsal. The group at the moment a little bit fractured on that descent, and you can just see AD just keeping an eye on everybody at the moment. Ken Kerrigan currently just sitting 15 seconds down. Just going to have to put a little bit of a push. So let's have a look. If you're not saying the anvil, use it on an uphill so that you don't break the group up. AD chasing on at the moment. Ken Kerrigan pushing up the watts. So AD just getting the message out. And, Chevrolet rider Ken Kerrigan. So AD will know him well. Of course, both based in Steel City. And this is the run in to the finish, and this is a really tricky running. We're going to stay with the point of view camera here from the gang coming round. So it's like Ken saying to Eddie, crack on, mate. So let's have a look. So 80 on this run through now. It's a sharp left turn. And this is what's tricky about this run in at the moment. So you line yourself up. Well, the way to remember this is as you come in and around, when you come in through past that big white van, you really have to be winding it up at that point. You're now into that little bit of a run in towards the finishing line, and this is really key. You've got to take the right hand turn past the pen entrance, which is here, and AD is going to line us straight up for the finishing line, which is very, very quickly. If you start sprinting when you go past the pens, then do you know what? You're probably starting your sprint a little bit too late. So one lap complete. 20 minutes per lap at the moment. That should put us on a 120, but it will get quick on the way through. Red is indeed excited. Eddie is a very excitable person. Now, Ken is going to be having a roll in. Thanks, Ken, for messaging Eddie. So, Ken saying, tired today. Crack on, mate, and that is exactly what we would love to see. If you're not going to be with the riders, then we're going to drop a thumbs up, right on to Ken to say thank you very much for giving the message to the riders so we know exactly what is happening. Now, let's have a look. John Garford tucked it nicely in with the back. The group was reformed once again. Remember, 52 riders on the start line today in the Donny Chaingang, in the open Chaingang. Looks like Russ just starting to wind things up on the front here a little bit more. Just picking that pace up a touch, which will mean we start to see bodies being shed from that chain gang. no doubt, as the pace picks up. So our helicopter up as we head on to our third climb of the spiral ascent up. So third time up on to lap number 2. Remember, 2 climbs per lap every single time. Going to test our riders, but as you can see, the bunch all together, which is what we want to see. So some great scenery on Mercury Island, and whilst our riders are heading out and around once again on that spiral climb, we're just keeping everybody together on that massive bus, just make sure everybody's following the rules. So the gang are pretty much together, just seeing 1 or 2 people just starting to lose a little bit of touch off the back of the pack. Let's take a little bit of a run now, see who's just near the back. Looks like Mr. Corden, just a distance a little bit, just got to put a little bit of a push on here. I think at the moment that is going to be Josh Corden. So that's it, Josh, give it a little bit of squeeze, get onto Gibbo's wheel. Looks like Gibbo just dropping off the pace a touch at the moment. Going to need to just pick that back up again. A few seconds opening up on the ascent are very difficult to get back on the descent. Gibbo just being distance here, going to have to work pretty hard to get back onto the wheels as we go out onto the big loop, the loop that circles the lagoon, rather than the island lap that we're just about to complete. So to the island loop, we're going to be heading out now. The shafts are going to be, let's have a little look. Gibbo off the back of this group, just going to have to do a serious bit of work here. Looks like Claire Jessup having to do 3.5 watts per kilo, 3.9 from Josh Corden. Looks like Squires, Ethan Squires having to push at 3.8 as well. There's a lot of people just losing the ground on the budge here. And Gibbo at the moment at 2.4 watts per kilo, but losing touch on that climb, and now has some serious work to do to get back in touch. You can see him picking up to 2.6 or so. Claire Jessup doing 3.1, but the problem that the riders will have is doing 3 watts per kilo when the budge is moving at 2.5 to 2.6 watts per kilo is not sufficient to make ground up. So looks like Claire just distanced off the back. 80 just rolling at the back. So if you need help, shout the word help to 80. It is real easy. Make sure you say what you want rather than what the situation is. So if you need a Claire, shout out if you need a wheel, please, because you're not going to see Eddie. I don't think he's just rolling at the back waiting. In fact, he's coming back for you. Here we go. Gibbo at the moment at 2.1. If you put a push on Gibbo, get yourself in. So Gibbo at the moment just pushing to get back in. Just see Tim Corby just putting a little bit of a squeeze on to try and get into the back of the pack. 80 are going to be doing the roll back. Let's take a little bit of a look back. You can just see Claire coming round that turn at 3 watts per kilo. Gibbo a bit further back than that. So that boardwalk sprint time will be decimated pretty quickly. Looks like there's a few bodies sat between the back of the bunch and our red beacon. A few breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs is the ideal word because, of course, they don't last all that long. Looks like Simon Oxenham coming back to give Eddie and Claire a hand. Gibbo not shouting out, so not sure what's going on with Gibbo today. It's at 2.3 though. So let's have a look. Claire really putting the power down. So this is going to be really interesting. So looks like Oxenham are going to be giving a bit of a tow. We're going to take a little bit of a look up the road. So let's see how these guys do. Let's follow this duo first of all. Simon, make sure you got that number 6 engaged. Number 6 is the rear view mirrors, basically. Now you can see Claire knows exactly how to ride a wheel, regular on the Chaingang. Nicely tucked on to the wheel of Simon Oxenham, both on Tron bikes here, so both had plenty of time on the way and the road of Zwift as they continue to push at the moment. They've got Tim Corby, got Ryan Williams, looks like Dale Williams just at the back of that bunch, so a few riders to go for. Remember, this is a flat run in, so just picking up Tim Corby. So Tim just in front here in that grey kit. So that's now 2 wheels for Claire to follow. Remember, this is about making sure that you get the chain going down. Make sure you get that trio dialed. You'll start picking up the riders nicely on the way through, but don't lose too much ground. Remember, it's 6 meters is the ideal maximum. Now 80 is pushing on here. I think Gibbo just disappeared out of the gang. So let's take a little bit of a look. Looks like Tracy coming back, Finn Donoghue coming back, Ryan Williams coming back. Let's see how they're going on. We've gone over the point of no return, so late joiners none gone on. So here we go. So 80 are Red Beacon and now are trying to make contact with this group of 3, soon to become 4, if not 5, because it looks to me like Dale Williams has also come back. So the gang are working to pull everybody back in. Eddie putting out 4 watts per kilo at the moment to get into this train. And it's a real train. You've got Vin Donoghue, you've got Dale Williams, you've got Ryan Williams, you've got Simon Oxenham, you've got Tracy the Terminator 2.0, Tim Corby, Claire Jessup, all are working to get this group back in and to get Claire back in, just being distanced out. And it really is key because particularly on lighter riders, they have to put out some massive watts per kilo to get back to the group, because on the flat sections a lot of it is about watts, not just watts per kilo. So if you can go churn out a few thousand watts, you're going to get back a lot easier, even though if you're a big person you're not necessarily going to be pushing out as many watts per kilo. Absolute watts really key when you're on your own. Once you're rolling with that group though, getting that draft is a massive advantage. And look at this, you can just see this gang coming back in. They're going to make contact, I think, in the next few 100 meters, definitely before we hit the turn. We're already on the way through, coming in. So really is key. It is one of the big key things here is on the climb. it transitions to the descent quite quickly. So on that spiral climb, you cannot afford to let even 2 or 3 meters go between you and the group in front. If you do, what happens is you get stuck in the sound. Effectively, the riders in front pick up pace and pick up speed, and because it's very quick on the drop down and the roll away, going to make a big difference on the way through. So it looks like Claire just get a new PR on the way through there. Got company with Tracy, so let's take a little bit of a look. So Claire in that last little section here, this is going to be key for these two to get back on again. We have seen before the riders think that the group is back, and it's not. They're not on just yet. They're not far away though, and I think before this left-hand turn, they're going to be back in. So just watching the Terminator towing Claire back on, both the regulars on the WoW DCG as well as on the Donny Chaingang. And remember, you're going to make sure you got those riders on board. As coming through, Dale Williams knows exactly what he's doing, just dropping back to make sure that there's a bit of draft assistance there for our riders. And if we take that drone cam up here now, this is about that little bit of a kick to get back on. Once again, you can see the power starting to go down here. Ryan Williams just being distanced a little bit. Ryan's going to have to be careful he doesn't get dropped off the back. We know he's got a super powerful sprint, but it really is key here. So as they start to make contact, you can see everybody working to get our riders on. But where are we? We're about to hit that climb once again, and it shows you if you get dropped on the summit of the climb, it can take you the entire large lagoon lap to get back on again, never mind that shorter lap. So great riding, guys. Just Ryan Williams off the back. I might stitch you push on now, that'd be really mean, but Ryan is one of those people who always helps out, so let's not do that. So let's take a little bit of a look. I'm not sure what Ryan's doing at the back. He may well already be in. Ryan's good. Yep, he's back on again. Ryan doesn't need it anyhow. Come on, this is Ryan. It's the one and only Ryan Williams. He knows exactly what he's doing. So coming up to 18.6k, coming up to the fourth ascent of the climb. So going in for the fourth ascent of the climb, and remember, key here, stay with that group over the top 80 with some rather posh company down there. Jimmy Mack on board. So our riders on the climb, AD Patrol in the back. So whilst our riders are on the climb, let's get that helicopter up into the air. I think this is going to signal. What's it going to signal? It's going to signal another of our giveaways. 2 giveaways to do today. 2 sets of custom Oakleys going out to our riders. Today, first pair going out to Kooslugs, following on from the pair yesterday going to Jamie Forbes. So who's going to take the same format? Really simple. Our riders labelled from 1. And it's 1 to 56 with 2 numbers not counting. That means it's 1 in 54 odds of winning a pair of custom Oakleys for those riders that are left. It's 1 rider, 1 prize. Old school rules apply on the Donny Chaingang. Of course they do. So this is going to be really a key. Let's see who's going to get the final giveaway of the year of those custom Oakleys. Let's hit the stop button. I can't see screens. Here we go. Number 40. So number 40 is going to be Pete Drabble. Pete, one of our regular riders from Scotland. Pete, you are going to be the 3rd rider of the DCG gang, and actually I think a few of our riders who've not won prizes before getting those. So Pete Drabble joining Kooslugs, Michael Hutchinson as well in winning. So nicely done. Fantastic stuff. A big thank you to Ian Taylor at 1080. He's been a long-time supporter of the Chaingang. He's a long-time supporter of riders on the Chaingang and of Russ. Myself, regularly using Ian because of his extensive knowledge. Make sure you support the people who support the Chaingang. Give Ian a shout. Grab yourself a set of shades. I mean, you know, the sun's going to come out eventually. It will happen, I promise. And due to some nice weather, actually, where we are over the weekend, so you never know, might even get out and ride my bike. My goodness. Looking forward to doing that. So, as we head out and around Little Loop, we're heading towards the half race distance. Let's jump back in with the riders on the Chaingang. Here, supported by all of our fantastic supporters of the DCG gang. Now let's get into the action as these riders start to come around to the end of their lap. So 3 riders. We have got Kooslugs, and we also, of course, have got, that's Michael Hutchison. We've got Pete Drabble taking a win, and as well we've also got the one and only James Forbes. So fantastic stuff, guys. Well done. Big thank you to Ian Taylor at 1080. The discounts for the members of the DCG gang ongoing. Make sure that you join the gang. There will be more discounts coming up for our riders and in the DCG gang. And remember, on our next month, that's January, that starts next week. So if you're a member of the gang monthly, please guys, make sure you renew for January. Pardon me, just deciding to swallow the coffee the wrong direction there. Can't breathe coffee yet, not mastered that technique. Happy New Year, Ted. One of our regular riders jumping on for a quick hour every time. I'm going to say every little bit counts. So thank you very much for joining us once again. Interested to see that Vin Donahoe just having to get a little bit of a toe back in. Claire Jessup, Vin, AD, Tracy, Simon Oxenham again. Wow. So Russ has indeed been busy on there. So down in cycling full speed events, of course, that's us. And Russ, don't forget, of course, it's Russ down in cycling to get hold of his lordship himself, the bear. Don't forget you can catch hold of me. It is Matt Fix for Pain. Copy and paste is a wonderful thing. And Russ clearly has it absolutely dialed. And not only that, can ride along, completing the laps, whilst also pasting on there. Now, we are fast approaching the point where everybody knows that we're surely going to get the kickoff, but we are only just over half ride distance at the moment. Looks like the bus forming. I'm going to say a massive thank you to DCG gang members, as Russ is pointing out on the screen. They are the guys who keep the show on the road, quite literally keep the wheels turning underneath Russ, and without them the chain gang wouldn't exist. Now, this group are working well. The question is, can they get themselves back in? I think that is a bit of an ask. A very tricky route to stay in with everyone. I think that's very true, actually, of this the new extension here. Remember, we're going to be fast approaching that climb once again. Looks like Sir Rodney just rolling back in towards the bus as well. Russ is one out after all that admin. Yeah, tell me about it. Russ and I definitely had a lot of admin. Seems to be a lot of admin this autumn. It's been autumn admin. There you go. So, Tracy, Claire, AD, Vin, Sir Rodney, Simon rolling around at the back of the lead bunch at the moment, 11 seconds ahead of Simon. Sir Rodney at 15 seconds, the bus at 18. And I suspect there'll be a few people joining the bus as the ride progresses. Just over half ride distance, just over half the meterage complete. And guess what? We are out onto the 5th climb of the... Guess what? It's the spiral climb once again. Round and round and round we go. Where it stops... Well, it's virtual banner, to be honest. Apart from a little warm down. So let's have a little look at down and see back as the gang. Oh, Mr. Lindley just sitting near the back of the bunch here. Probably just making sure his legs are in fine fettle. Having a great racing season at the moment, Tom Lindley. So riding well on the race lead. Just probably just getting himself fine-tuned for tonight's race. And great to see him on the gang. Somebody who's definitely grown up on the Chaingang. The main bunch being narrowed down now to 39 riders, I make it, at the absolute most. Will take a little bit look. 38, I suspect. So just got to be a little careful watching the numbers. Yeah, 38 riders, 39 riders on the group. So Eddie, Vin, Tracy and gang are rolling in with Claire Jessup, doing a nice job there in that red beacon group. Let's take a little bit of a check. I think, in fact, Eddie being given the signal to go chasing up the road if he needs to. As Volker and Donny, Vin and Tracy going to be making their way up. So I think Tom Lindley's going back to join him on the red bus, which is good to see. We're going to have Nick McDermott. I think the Vodka and Tonic bus is going to be the back of the ride today. Vodka and Tonic on the way on there. Then we got Claire Jessup just chasing Sir Rodney at the moment on the climb. Tom Lindley coming back from that group. Jim Flynn just off the back on this descent. But we know just how tough it is to get back on if you have been distanced. So 38 riders on the main peloton now. Still being led out by Russ as they go out onto the big lagoon loop once again. The larger Laguna loop, the longer loop of the two. So underneath the banner we go. 24.5k done. 45 minutes in. So Claire Jessup just heading off. Good to see you, Claire, on the Chaingang once again. Good to see you on the Donny Chaingang and on the WoW DCG. Good stuff, Claire. We will catch you again soon. We are going to do our sneaky little jump back to join Vodka and Tonic, who looks to be having a little bit of a poodle on the way round. Just keeping those legs ready for what's coming up. Good luck, guys, tomorrow, if I don't mention it again. And whilst I might be watching you, you're not going to see me out on the bike on Zwift. I'm hoping the weather's good enough to ride on Saturday, but tomorrow, rather busy day. Got an airport run, amongst other things as well. Now, Eddie just closing in on Tom, so Rodney just in with him as well. Then Jim Flynn up the road. Jimmy Mack holding the back of the bunch. It's coming to the left-hand turn. take us back down on the opposite side of the lagoon to the mech aisle. In fact, if we take a little bit of a sneaky look over the rider's right shoulder, you may just about be able to see a mech aisle in the distance just over there. It's actually a little bit of a tricky view because of all of the little things in the way, like all the little bits of rocks, etc. But mech aisle just over on the far side doesn't look huge, does it? But that spiral climb is definitely enough to do some damage. We're running along the long section here. The gang are continuing to roll at the moment quite nicely. Remember, going to be heading down this side of the lagoon, staying on the left-hand route through. So Russ being very kind, just like giving everybody the rerun of the distances. Finished just 4 full laps at 42.5k. As these riders go onto the flat mangrove sections that just take them in and through. So Rodney jumping on with Eddie Dench and Tom Linley. Looks like Nick McDermott holding the back of the group as they go through the mangrove swamps here, just picking a little line on the way through, trying not to end up into the real dodgy bits on the way through, the really wet sections. Just dodging those as they come in. A couple more sections to go in over the logs, over the junior sections. But going to be in and then coming down onto the section that takes you back along through the second of the sprint points. So basically with us having 4 laps, so with us having 4 finish lines plus 8 sprint lines, lots of opportunities to exchange various power-ups to make sure you got the right one for the finish that you need. Let's see who's going to have what when we come in to that finishing line. Meanwhile, looks like our Red Beacon group continue to roll. That's going to be Tom Linley, Eddie Dench and Sir Rodney in that group. VNT holding the back of the tail end Charlie position at the moment. Jim Flynn of fairway in front at the moment, just chasing this group. This is the main pack. Have 38 riders. They're going to be taking the shoreline by taking a left-hand turn here. So through go our riders, absolutely rocketing the way in and around, and then they're going to be coming on that spit of sand that takes you in and along through underneath the sprint line, and then taking the left-hand turn that takes you on to, oh yes, that'll be the spiral climb once again. So underneath the tide pool sprint, so called because basically when the tide is in the right-hand section, basically it becomes part C. The riders in through there, collecting more power-ups on the way through. Mr. Wallace just in that danger zone at the moment, just on the back of the group. Going to need to push on as the group continues to wind its way up. You can just see getting very interesting indeed now as they continue to push, and because of that go, go, go from Russ, it has really wound up. You can just see we've got bodies at distance on the way through here. This is Nick McDermott here, and that go, 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 a very interesting timing by Russ, because it has done the damage. Thank you very much, G. Yeah, just pick that up on the messenger on the way through. You can just see Mick Clark here leading this next group. That's going to be Gary Patterson, Ruth Taylor, Nick McDermott, Brett Downtree. Then it's going to be Malin. Then Isaac Oliver just tucked on the back of the group. 31 riders left in this pack, with bodies starting to swing off the group. Paul Malin, I think, just feeling the pace at the moment. So here we go. On to the climb once again. So this is going to be the final time up, and that looks to me like the shape of Gareth Mason on the move. We're in with Russ at the moment, who I think is having to engage some serious power to chase after Mason as we come up on to this climb. We're going to try and get some kind of camera up that can give us a viewpoint of what the riders are up to on the front. But look at this. It looks to me like the gang at the front. Well, Mason's got himself a steamroller. Look at that feather flag that's been engaged on the way up there as well. That was very effective by Isaac Oliver on his way up and around. We're in with Russ, who's only got a draft at the moment. That's not the handiest thing to have. As you can see, plenty of people engaging power-ups here. Dale Williams, though, has got that steamroller. He went for it slightly later than Mason, which means it drops out later as he goes up over the top. He hits the steel bridge, and as he does so, you go straight in. This is a downhill bridge station to start off with. It's just got a little bit of a bend on it, so not great. So it just makes its way through. But Williams with a fractional gap back. And as you can see, we're going to take a little bit of a look. Looks like 8 riders down the road ahead of Paul Simonite, who's got Russ for company. Morgan Lloyd, Ollie Saxton, Jimmy Mack, 2 seconds off this group. So is Osman, Tim Corby. Jimmy Mack's putting in some big power here at the moment, 5.4 as he comes through here. So Jimmy trying to use that pace and speed as he gets in to the yellow beacon. Can they form a chasing group that is a cohesive chasing group? There are a lot of bodies immediately behind Jimmy and Russ at the moment. So whilst they're chasing that group in front, they've got to see how many of these people they want to get back into this group here, because they have got bodies chasing behind. Remember, when we hit the line this time, it's going to be 1 lap to go. This is going to be a long chain gang tonight. It's going to be a tough chain gang when you've got a group of riders up at the front who are trying to stay clear. This is your leading group. Isaac Oliver, it is Gareth Mason, Rob Varty, it's going to be Simon Oxenden, Phil Oliver in there, Ryan Williams in, as well as Ethan Squires. They are your leaders, but Russ bringing the group towards them, the chasing group, trying to close them down. So remember, the leading group is 8 riders strong. Behind them, though, there are a further set of riders chasing at the moment. We'll try and get you those numbers. It looks bigger than the numbers are showing up on our screen. So I think 7 riders in that pack could be very, very interesting. So this group of riders, this is 8. It's 8 and 8. So the pursuit is on. They're trying to close down. Looks like Altaf Hussein along with Finley Hudson, Henry Fuller. Group of 3 riders distanced off the back. It'll think Morgan Lloyd just jumping into the back of this group. Can they bring them back? This is going to be really, really interesting. So it's going to be 1 lap to go. Now you're seeing the power starting to be put down as they come in to the group. Here we go. That has suddenly become one big group on the front with 1 more lap left to go on the Donny Chaingang for 2022. So nicely done. The riders come back together, and guess what's happening? We've got riders on the attack. Looks like Ryan Williams has just gone for the counterpunch straight away. The moment they all came back to him, he knows it's only 10k. He also knows there is a climb coming, so Williams has gone for a long one. In the confusion of bringing everybody back, he's hoping that he can get away. He's got 7 seconds on the chasing group behind. He's at 5 watts per kilo. The highest number I've seen out of that chasing group is 4 at the moment, and it is not a consistent chase. 7 seconds now. Ryan Williams on the charge. The group behind, let's take a look. They are pretty much as one big bunch. So Ryan Williams is the rider who is rocketing his way. He's got 7 seconds. He's got to make up 136 up to Vin and Tracy. That's not an impossible task, dependent on where he is out on the course. Question will be, will he catch him on the way through the downhill where a wheel will be helpful? That gap now at 11 seconds, 12 seconds to the chasing group of riders. This is the man on the mission. He has gone early. We'll get off our helicopter shot just simply so we can see where he is. You can see that chasing group. So the question is going to be, can they come back? Isaac Oliver putting in a big dig behind. He's gone at 10 watts per kilo. He's starting to put the push on. So I'm loving the fact. Let Riders get out of the way. No, stay in the way. Give him a toe. Ryan's gone for this. He's gone for the early attack. He had the 12 seconds. It looks like Isaac Oliver is on a charge to try and get back across. It's not going to be long. Here he is. He's going to be on Williams' wheel. The question is, has Ryan Williams got anything left to go with any riders that can make him back to him? So here we go. Going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do. They're going to get together here. This is another danger moment for all of these riders. So we're in with Isaac Oliver. He comes up on Ryan Williams. We've got Ethan Squires. Simon Oxenham is the nearest rider to this trio of riders. He's 3 seconds back. So can this trio continue to open up the gap to Oxenham, Oliver, to Simonite, to Mason, to Williams, to Varty? Going to be a tough one. We're riding in with Isaac Oliver. His heart rate 203 beats per minute. Yes, he is young. 204. It's still going up. You compare that to Ryan Williams, 190. What's Ethan on? Ethan's on 200. It shows you these young riders. They've got that space, that capacity to go up that little bit higher. So let's see who's going to do this. This is serious stuff. A young Bond Crew rider in there. That is Squires. Look at Williams put the power down as well. They are moving away now from the chase behind. This is what's left of the chase. We are going to have a long lagoon lap and a short lap to go. So here we go, out on that long lagoon lap. It is 12 seconds to the ride leaders, Ryan Williams, Isaac Oliver, along with Ethan Squires. At the moment, this chasing group have got some serious work to do to close down our 3 leaders. Jimmy Mack with the heater on. Jimmy, for those people who don't know, lives north of the England-Scotland border, up in the, I was going to say far north, but it's not even close to far north. Edinburgh, not all that too far north of the border. So here we go. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see if they can get there. So in and along this group goes Jimmy Mack, just sitting on the back of this group at the moment as the pressure is on the front. And I think we're going to see a little bit of a push by Simonite here. He's just squeezing to get up on to the front. He's also ghosted his way off. Doesn't work when you put in the fire as well. And certainly doesn't work when you've got the camera set on top of you. Back in he pops. and just making his way in through there. He's got himself a different power up, which may well be more useful as they go through. Now, interestingly, Mason using up the steamroller here in a attempt, I think, to pick up something better on the tide pool sprint for the climb. I always think the steamroller is quite effective because it's very, very long lasting. So it's very handy for those sort of longer run-ins. Now, the gap is still 10 to 11 seconds from Ryan Williams, from Isaac Oliver, and from Ethan Squires. Squires heart rate 187 now. Looks like Isaac Oliver down to 197, Ryan at 184, so they've dropped about 5 beats per minute at the moment. All three riders are dropping about 5 beats a minute, as we see Dale Williams at the moment leading this group along. He's aware that 10 seconds is a dangerous gap to these 3 riders. They've got to work together. If they don't work together as a chasing group, they are not going to catch back these 3 youngsters who are riding smart at the moment. They're doing enough just to keep that gap there, going out now to 12 seconds. And it shows you just cannot chase back on your own as a rider on this kind of terrain, particularly on the fine and sandy route. So, Group 1. 3 riders together. Group 2, 10 riders. Currently about 12 seconds behind. Then 20 seconds behind, you've got Tim Corby, Morgan Lloyd, and Finn Davies Jr. This is group number 3. Group number 4, led by Altaf Hussein. So group number 4 takes us from 18th place to 22nd place at the moment. Approximately about 6 riders, in fact, in total. So I think that may be a little bit deceptive, the numbers in there. They're all trying to chase down our race leaders, and this is where they've got to either commit or get off the bus, because they're now out at 13 seconds to Ryan Williams, who's on the front doing the big turn at the moment. It's interesting to watch the pace being put down here. These riders all want to be in touch, but interestingly, it looks to me like Isaac Oliver has gone off the back of the 2 leaders. He's not been able to stay with the pace of Ryan Williams and Ethan Squires at the moment. And Isaac Oliver on this power section is going back into the group. Now, is that a tactical move there by Isaac? Because Isaac Oliver, a very smart rider. He has seen Mason and the rest of the group coming. Has he decided that he needs to just sit in a slightly bigger group? So Isaac Oliver, Gareth Mason, Paul Simonite, Russ Downing, Phil Oliver, Jimmy Mack in there, Dale Williams, Simon Oxenham. It's going to be Ollie Saxton. That's the chasing group at the moment. They are chasing 2 leaders now. Their numbers diminish with the loss of the rider. That's Isaac Oliver. So Ryan Williams and Ethan Squires, 2 leaders on the ride, approaching Topol sprint banner. Going to pick up a power up. The question is going to be, what are they going to get, and can they use it to good effect on what is left? Remember, we have the spiral climb to go. So spiral climb, and then the fast descent off the other side, the right hand turn, and then that run in and through. That white van on the right hand side as you go around the left hand bend, really the key marker to begin your sprint, because if you leave it to the pens, you're going to be too late. I'll see just who's going to go where. The gap at the moment, 11 seconds from Dale Williams to the leaders. Dale with a 3-second gap back Dale looking to be doing a lot of the work here, and at the moment, nobody's able to go with him, either able or willing to go with him. This dangerous tactics, leaving it to Squires and Williams to pop. Both of them very competent riders indeed. And I think I'll be with Dale hitting that chase button pretty quickly. So our leaders are about to hit the left-hand turn. You can see the road ascent just in front, going underneath the factory buildings in front of the riders. That's where the spiral climb takes us up to. They're about to go in to the left, that takes us underneath the bridge. They've got the gap. You can see that yellow beacon now at 17 seconds. 17 seconds to these two. These are your ride leaders at the moment. I don't think they're actually going to catch Vin and Tracy, who've just gone over the top of the bridge. So these two take the left-hand turn on the elevator. What we're going to go underneath the boardwalk first of all. That's the footbridge for the runners, and then underneath the steel bridge, which is that slightly dipped steel bridge on Mech Isle. So here we go. Ethan Squires has got a power-up in the shape of a steamroller. Squires is putting out 6 watts per kilo, and he's distancing Williams, who is having to go into the red here. So look at this. Squires riding up 5.6 to 6 watts per kilo. Ryan Williams on this climb is having to ride at nearly 8 watts per kilo to stay with him due to that power up, due to that steamroller. But that is Squires' power up used. What power up have we got with Ryan Williams? When is he going to deploy him? I'm sure I haven't seen him put anything in yet. Meanwhile, guess who's gone back on the attack on the climb? It's Isaac Oliver yet again, who's coming across. He has got 6 seconds on Saxton and Williams. They've got Simonite, Oliver, Vardy, Jimmy Mack, Russ in this group. It looks like Osmond just being distanced. But the riders with the lead, Ryan Williams on this descent, winding it up at 6 watts per kilo. Squires is sat on his wheel pretty much. It's going to surely come down to these, so I can't see them getting chased back at this stage. They've got the right-hand turn to take, and then they are on the run in to the finish. So the pace absolutely frantic at the moment, but both these riders have dropped off. Williams manoeuvres Squires into the lead-out position. So, interesting move there. We saw 1 watt per kilo come from Ryan Williams there, as he wanted to put Ethan Squires in to the hot seat on lead-out duties. He's pretty confident about the distance. I think I would be 15 seconds to Isaac Oliver, 35 to Paul Simonite, but Williams now comes, just takes his way in and through. You see just starting to wind in, 4.95 watts per kilo at the moment from Ryan Williams, but look at Squires. He's absolutely glued to that back wheel. So Squires in the yellow, on the yellow Tron bike. Ryan Williams on the pink and white bike with the grey kit. They steadily make their way around these twists and turns. Now, where are they going to go for this? Because this is a very difficult finish to judge. Very, very difficult indeed. Remember, we've got to go past the pens and round the right-hand turn to pick up the finishing arch. My point is this white van. Whether that's right or not, we're going to see, because we're going to see how late they're going to do this. Now, Squires and Williams start to wind up. Williams starts to put a little bit of a dig in as he comes past that white van cab. Squires lifting to about 6. Nobody jumping yet at the moment. We're going to take the next little chicane here. We're about to reach the pens. They're not jumping too soon. Squires is in here, but Williams is going to have this if he's not careful, because Williams is now. Squires goes at 11.3. He sees the gap. He sees the gantry, and Squires has gone early. I think he's got the jump on Williams. Williams is coming behind him, but it is Ethan Squires who takes it. Williams being jumped there. They left it to that little kick in to the finish, and he got the timing wrong there, did Williams. An absolutely spot on by Squires, knowing he needed to jump. Isaac Oliver's going to come for us in third. It's going to be fourth from Williams. It's going to be fifth from Farty, sixth for Russ. Just staying ahead of Ollie Saxton in seventh. Jimmy Mack will be eighth. Phil Oliver's going to be through in 10th place here, as Osman should take the next spot. He's got the power on Mason. A real brutal finish. Very difficult to get right, and really interesting. So Ryan Williamson, sorry there, mate. Well, you know what? I don't think you should be too sorry, but Ethan Squires putting in a great ride there. So Simon Oxenham going to be our next rider on his way in to the line. Mason already off the power. You see a number of people just literally putting the brakes on. Keep those legs spinning, guys. Going to be key to stopping that lactic acid from building up. Oxenham with 10 seconds ahead of Corby. So here we go. Oxenham goes through to Corby on his way. So Corby goes in and through, being chased here by Morgan Lloyd. He's got Finn Davies on his wheel. The run for the line is on. You can see they're both winding it up. I think Morgan is just going to have the beating here of Finn. He does indeed, Finn giving it everything and then just easing off as he comes in and through the line. Here we go. Finley Hudson, good to see Finley on the gang, goes in and through the line. Altaf Hussein is going to be the next rider. Good to see Altaf back after one of his many jaunts off to some nice sunny weather. But I think Corden's going to pip him. Oh, he does as well. Corden gets Altaf on the line. Then it's going to be Henry Fuller. Cow coming through with Runnets. Then it's going to be Mick Hawks are going to be our next rider, I think, behind. Just taking a little bit of a look of a run of the road. Finn Davis, Simon run it all in and through. Keep those legs spinning, guys. Make sure that you get rid of the that lactic acid. Thank you very much, Mr. Runnett. Cheers, gang. Matt Russ, Happy New Year. Cheers, buddy. Appreciate that. 2023. Another year of the Chaingang. Well, till April at least. So, here we go. Mick Hawkins coming around that turn in front of the white van there that has the robot joint on there. So, good to see Jimmy coming through. Thank you very much, Jimmy. We do appreciate it. Not surprised. Don't blame him. In exalted company out there. Interesting behind. Mike Killingsworth versus Rob Wimble. Yeah, definite pleasure having Jimmy Mack with us. Absolutely knows exactly what he's up to. As we see Mick Hawkins come in and through. Going to hit the line as he comes in. So well done to Mick. Good to see you on the gang. This is going to be an interesting sprint here. Rob Wimble versus Mike Killingsworth. Who's going to go for this one? Who's going to get it between these two? Two regulars in here. So Killingsworth in the Union flag. Look at the numbers. So they're coming up. They're coming up. They're coming up. It's going to be tight. Rob's going to get it. Oh, nicely ridden, Mr. Wimble there. Rob Wimble taking that as he came in from Mike Killingsworth. Just out drag stripping him as he came into line. We're just dropping back to Mr. Malin. So Paul Malin goes in and through, and well done, Paul. Good ride as he goes in just ahead of Carl Johnson. Johnson going to come in about 27th place, and it's going to be Mr. Wallace behind, followed by John Garfoot, one of our regular red beacons, the Royal Navy Royal Marines Cycling Association Donny Chaingang rider. Here's going to be our next finisher. He's going to be ahead of Mick Clark, Chris Ball, Brett Dowtrey, Ruth Taylor, Gary Pattison. Then behind should be Mr. Ingham. We'll keep a check on the way through. We'll see whether Mark is indeed that rider. So John Garfer in and through the line. Chris Ball, another of our regular beacons coming through. Good to see Chris back on the bike, buddy. So well done to Chris Ball, just coming through with Mick Clark, the pair, both regular supporters of the Chaingang. Then it's going to be an interesting run in here. We've got Ruth Taylor nicely tucked into this group. Good to see Ruth back on the bike once again. Ruth, always a friendly face out at the races, and Ruth currently set with Brett and with Gary on the turns on the way in to the finish. Don't forget, of course, once you go through the gantry, through that virtual gantry, it is then the run to the blue banner for the finish line. That's to give you a chance to get your legs spun out and warmed down. So Gary, Brett and Ruth, the next finishers, just ahead of Mark Ingham. Then I think it is going to be our Red Beacon group, followed by the Vodka and Tonic group at the back. So here we go. I'm loving AD Dench. It's a bit like when you're on a road trip with your dad and mum and dad, and they go, "Do you know what? It's only round the next corner. It's just round the next corner." AD Dench is like, "It's just up this hill. It's the last time up the hill." "Oh no, this is the last time up the hill." Now Gary has gone for this. Here we go. So Gary getting a kick onto Brett and onto Ruth, puts in the distance as he sees that banner coming. Well done to Gary, regular on the Chaingang. Well done, buddy. So Gary goes through. Going to be Ruth Taylor who comes through behind. So spinning nicely there by Ruth, eases off the power. Good to see Brett on the gang again. Well done, bud. So Brett and Ruth Taylor in and through, and immediately behind should be Mark Ingham. So 80 with the "Are we there yet?" No, sadly, mate, no, you're not. You've still got that climb to go, mate. I see where you are. You're on the spiral climb. You're just about to come back over the steel bridge. So next in is going to be Mark Ingham. Mark going to be our next finisher. Well done, buddy. So in and through the line he goes. Well done to Brett as he comes in and through the finish. Now, that means that we can take a little bit of a run back, because I think AD and the bus are our next group on the road. AD did indeed miscount the number of hills. It's an easy thing to do, that is for sure. Even numbers. So just watching Tom Lindley put an anchor in on the way down here in Anvil, sorry, not an anchor, on the way downhill. Should know the difference between the two, although you get strapped to either, then you ain't going to be coming up for breath on the way through. So as 80 brings this group coming in and through, Matt not here to do his counting. He'd be a hill counter rather than a lap counter. So as these riders head in on the way down, going to say a quick thank you to Russ, of course, my co-producer, co-production between Down in Cycling Full Speed Events, the Chaingang, and for the DCG, the WOW DCG. We worked really hard together all the year to make it happen, including in the off-season. It's been a busy and a tough year for both of us, so thank you very much to everybody who supported us, to all of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club who keep the show on the road, to all of our supporters up there who have made sure they get rewarded on the way through and looked after our riders. A massive thank you to all of our riders. I know we can get shirty about the people going off the front, off the back, not playing the game, but you know what? We've put a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and an incredible amount of hours over the years into making this work, and it does. A big thank you to all of our beacons who volunteer week in, week out. You can just see on your screen down there the one and only AD Dench, regular Red Beacon. Don't forget to volunteer for the Red Beacon on the DCG. Get in touch with Gail if you want to be a beacon on the WoW DCG. Get in touch with Emma and make sure that you are in and on the gang, helping out in whatever way you can. We really, really do appreciate the help of all of our beacons. It's a great job to have. It's a great job to do. It's not easy. If you want to know the TSS or any of the data, ask Neil from Gritty, who has got all of the facts. Remember, of course, we are back in the new year. If you're a member of the DCG gang, get your memberships in. If you're in a monthly, if you're not in the monthly, if you sign up for the year, thank you ever so much. It does make life a lot easier when we have all these, all the costs start running in. And don't forget, of course, that we are running right the way through to April on DCG into the end of March on the WoW DCG. So give us a subscribe, give us a follow Fozzie Downing, as well as Downing Cycling, as well as Matt Fixer Pain, Biking, Emma, and Full Speed Events. Let's jump in with our riders as they make their way into the line. This our next group of riders being brought in and home. So it is Tom Lindley. It's going to be Jim Flynn. It's going to be Sir Rodney, along with our Beacon AD Dench. Well done, guys, and great to see the bus working well. Now, normally you would expect our next two riders to be right at the front of affairs, and gotta say a massive thank you to Vodka and Tonic, aka Vin and Tracy. They, when we announced there was going to be a gap, and we are going to put a break in between the end of April and the start of September, these two stepped up with Keith Richardson and others. So basically, they have spent a lot of time researching routes, getting people together, keeping everybody in the gear. So making sure that people stayed together. Got to say a massive thank you to these two. I know that they are going to be on the bike tomorrow, so please, if you get a mow, give them a follow. They're going to be out on the Volcano Flat route. They're going to be doing all 500k tomorrow, supposedly for the Festive 500. Please do give them a bit of support by jumping on with them. They have helped the gang no end. So make sure that you give them a little bit of a tow tomorrow and get them over a few or more of those kilometres. Don't forget, of course, to subscribe to the Downing Cycling, the Full Speed Events YouTube channels. Make sure you jump onto the Facebook page. Follow the Full Speed Events for all of the streaming coming up. We're going to be busy giving away yet more money on the esports that we cover on a weekend, a regular Sunday gig, as I think it's going to be Vince who is going to be bringing the duo in and across the line. So Vince Donahue, the man who's in there. And, of course, it is Tracy Devin, but jams his brakes on there, very gentlemanly alike. So Vin and Tracy in and across the line. We're going to let those two spin their way in. So don't forget, from myself, Matt Payne, from Russ, from Emma, from everybody who has been involved in the gang, from Gail, Mark Chamberlain, all of the team behind the scenes, Tim Cooper, all the tech, to the guys who've helped out here in the studios. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great new year. Get some miles in on Battle some K's if you're in the virtual world. We'll be back next week for more Donny Chaingang and more WoW DCG. From me, Matt Payne. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.